So, I'm gonna be making a video that I've always felt I needed to do, but I really never really been ready to make it, I guess. But this is a video about how my best friend died. So, if any of you are sensitive to the topic of suicide, then this is a trigger warning and proceed with caution. So it all started April 17th, the day I last saw him. We went to this scrapyard because he loved scrapyards so much. He was a junkie like that. He loved scrapyards, old cars, always went to the auto show here in Michigan. And he even vamped up a Mustang that he had. It was lime green, which was his favorite color. And so the last day I saw him, we went to this scrapyard. And we made plans to, in the summertime, go to the beach with a bunch of friends. And back my freshman year of high school, we always made this plan to rent an RV and go to Canada. And something you need to know about him is I had a crush on this guy for 5-6 years. He had a crush on me, and everyone just said that me and him were meant for each other. We were soulmates, and everyone said that. You can ask any of my friends, anybody that went to high school with us, they will tell you. And so we were coming back from the scrapyard, and he had the windows down in the truck that he had, and because he didn't have the Mustang anymore because he had gotten into a really bad accident on the way to school one day, and it got totaled. And up until May 10th, I thought that day was the worst day of my life. And this was in 2016. So it's been almost 2 years. But we had the windows down. We were listening to the radio and just singing along. We're both country nerds, and we were listening to country music and just singing. And I had my arm on like the middle console in his truck, and he had his arm on it too. And like there's just this static between our arms. And in my entire 22 years of life, I've never felt something like that before. And so when he dropped me off at my house, he said, "I can't wait till our beach trip." And I couldn't either. Fast forward to May 10th, 2016. It was a Tuesday. It's either a Sunday or Tuesday. It was a Tuesday. And I had been coming home from work. I had just gotten home from work. And my boyfriend surprised me with sushi. And so I was eating my sushi, and then I figured, okay, I'll scroll through Facebook, which I guess was my first mistake. And I passed a status from somebody that I went to high school with. And it said, "Rest in peace to the best friend I've ever had." And it had his name. And then I had messaged one of his friends, one of my friend's friends, that I was also friends with, and I messaged him and I said, "Please tell me this is a joke." And he said no. And I remember just utter shock. I dropped my phone on my bed. And my boyfriend looked at me and he's like, Jenna, are you okay?" And I didn't move. I couldn't move. And he came over and he picked up my phone and saw the status. And he just hugged me. And for the first 10 minutes, I couldn't cry. I couldn't. It was just a sense of pure shock. And then the first person I called was my grandma. And this was at 12:30 in the morning. So it was now May 11th. And my grandma goes to sleep at 10. But the phone rang twice, and then she picked up and she said, "Hello?" And I said, "He's gone." She said, "Who's gone?" I said, "My friend's name. I don't want to say his name, just out of respect." And I said, "He killed himself." And she just, oh my God, the most sincerity and heartfeltness, because she knew how much he meant to me. And she was just like, "I cannot imagine. I can't believe this." And then I called my friend Angela over. Me and her were fighting at the time over something that happened. And I called her and she answered and she's just crying, and I was like, "He's gone." And she said, "I know." And to people who say you're not crying, there's no tears, it's because it's been almost 2 years. And it's just, I really have no tears left to cry. I literally cried until I ran out of tears. And she came over and she just hugged me. And then fast forward to the 13th, his funeral. On the 12th, I was working and there was a thunderstorm, and I'm terrified of thunderstorms, but it was thundering and it was a really bad thunderstorm. But I stood outside because I work at a pizzeria, and I was standing in the alley behind it, and I was just standing there and I was looking at the sky and I said, "Give me your best shot. You can't hurt me anymore. You've already done the worst you could do. I don't care. And the thunder was getting really, really bad, and I was just like, come on, is that the best you got? You already hurt me the worst you could. You can't hurt me anymore. And I remember listening to This Is Gospel, and that song, I can't listen to it anymore. And the night of the 12th, I just got so drunk, and I needed something. And then I hardly slept. I really hardly slept. And then me and my friend got ready at my late friend's house, because his family invited us over. And me and his brother never really talked. We had different points of view on certain things, but now me and him are the best friends ever, because me and him we remind each other so much of his brother. Like, every time me and him are together, it's just we feel his presence, and we know that's what he would have wanted. But the day of his funeral, I bought his family a bag of Jolly Ranchers, and I specifically picked out the blue ones because the blue ones were his favorite. And I met his mom, and his mom was so sweet. This is the first time I ever met his family. And she said, he talked about you a lot. And she gave me one of his senior pictures. And to this day, that's my most prized possession. And I went to Kmart a few weeks after, and I got a blue Jolly Rancher soda, because he always brought those to school. But the day of his funeral, when I was at his house, his dad was talking to me, and just, you could see how much pain he was in. And he was talking about how much my friend talked about me, how I would have made an amazing girlfriend for him. Oh, and before we went to his funeral, we stopped by my high school and saw one of my history teachers that always, made fun of me and him for flirting so much in class. And it was after school got out, and I went into his room, and he still had some students in his class, because they were just then getting out of school. And I walk in, and he just hugs me, and he's like, I'm so, so sorry. He told me, as soon as I heard, you were the first person I thought of. And all the teachers that had me and him in the same class said that I was the first person they thought of, because we were inseparable. If there was him, there was me. If there was me, there was him. But when I was at his house, I asked his dad, would you be okay if I spoke at his funeral? And his dad told me, I was about to ask you if you wanted to. And the hardest thing that I've ever had to do in my life was try to get through speaking at his funeral without crying. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And early this year, I wanted to get a tattoo for him. So I took my best friend Brian, and we went to a tattoo parlor near my house, and I got my second tattoo ever. And this is it. So if any of you are going through a hard time and you just want to end all the pain, just think, if you do that, everybody that you love will be making this video. And this is the hardest video I've ever had to make. And I've made a video about, on one of my other channels, about how I was raped. And this is still the hardest video I have ever had to make. So please, it gets better, it really does. Just keep believing that. Even when you think that it can't, it will. And I used to have a really bad habit of self-harming when I was depressed. And after he died, I haven't done it. It's like every time I want to, his hand is holding mine and just saying, don't do it. Please don't do it. So, this one's for you, buddy. I hope you're bowling good up in heaven. There's help. There really is. And there's hope. And what you need to tell yourself is that this too shall pass. Thanks for watching.